3 conditions that must prevail before the President orders any such number of police officers to proceed on another country for service. First, there must be in place a legitimate government. Second, there must be reciprocity. And third, there must be a request from the reciprocating country. The government ought to assure Kenyans that the planned deployment meets the conditions set out in the Act. In addition, there have been sad reports of Kenya police officers falling victim when combating local criminal gangs in the country. There is need for the country to be assured that the Kenya police is adequately suited to undertake the foreign mission in terms of technical preparedness and capabilities, knowledge of the Haitian terrain, and the language cultural awareness. It is also important that the nation at large and families of officers who will be selected to undertake the mission in Haiti, in particular, be guaranteed that adequate measures have been put in place to mitigate casualties and to cushion families of the deployed officers from psychological trauma associated with deployment, including the sad eventualities of losing their loved ones abroad. Honorable Speaker, Article 208 of the Constitution envisages national security as the protection against internal and external threats to Kenya's territorial integrity and sovereignty, its people, their rights, freedom, property, peace, stability, and prosperity, and other national interests. The country has been experiencing an increase in the number of insecurity cases in several parts of the country, where hopeless Kenyans continue to bear the brunt of attack by criminals and terrorist gangs. It is a matter of concern that the government ought to first assure security and a surplus to deploy on missions abroad. As a matter of fact, stabilizing homeland security takes precedent over committing the police officers abroad. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I call on the government to treat the deployment of Kenya police officers to the Republic of Haiti with abundance of caution and exercise a well-calculated balance between national interest and global interest so as to not jeopardize national security. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Signed today, Member for Parliament, Mathare constituency. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Mathare. Honorable members, Standing Orders 43, you can read it all the way to 3, has given the leeway for the Speaker to exert discretion. So I'll give 3 comments of a maximum of 3 minutes each. Then we will get to the CS because she's already here. I'll give the Leader of Minority first.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for using your discretion very, very wisely in the manner you've done. Madam Speaker, the issues raised in Honorable Olwach's statement are grave. They are extremely weighty issues that this House must get seized of. Madam Speaker, even as we speak, and from what we are reading and hearing on international media, it is not clear who made the request for the Kenyan government to send police officers to Haiti. We don't know that it's the US government. We don't know that it's the Haiti government. We don't know whether it is the UN. Even though later on the UN passed a resolution at the Security Council. But that was a very general resolution. It did not specify that Kenya was even to lead that mission. I was very keen. That Security Council resolution did not name Kenya as the leader of that mission, that very dangerous mission. So it behoves, even as we wait for the CS to come here next week to explain, we must express ourselves as a House that this is an extremely dangerous adventure. Extremely dangerous adventure, which is ill-thought, which is reckless, and which is, I would say, very careless. It is extremely careless of whoever has conceived of this very, very ill-conceived notion. Madam Speaker, I conclude that even as the CS comes, let the House register its feelings. And there's no point of trying to say, no. Just wait. You will talk, Honorable Pukose. Yes. As far as I know, you have got no expertise on Haiti matters. Just relax and deal with the health issues. Yeah. Madam Speaker, I'm speaking from a point of authority and knowledge. Yes. We cannot use our children as guinea pigs on an international arena. Our children cannot be used as guinea pigs on an international arena. Why can't the U.S. send its policemen to Haiti, which is next door? Haiti is just next door. They can even go by boat.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Honorable Member for Endebess.
Madam Speaker, I want to make a comment on the statement by the Honorable Anthony Lodge on Kenya taking its police officers to Haiti. And I want to dissociate myself from the comments made by the Minority Leader with all due respect. That Kenya has been known to participate in international peacekeeping missions, whether in Somalia, whether in Namibia, whether in Darfur, and many other places. So, Honorable Speaker, because of the distinguished service of our servicemen, whether in the military, lately in Congo, EDRC Congo, in Goma area, or even our police officers, I think it is not in good faith to condemn a noble action which our police officers are going to carry out in Haiti. And the UN, when they discussed and made resolutions, it was actually unanimously passed to support Kenya's mission of 1,000. I know there was abstaining by China and Russia. I'm well informed about that. But it was unanimous, because abstaining does not mean opposition. And therefore, I think we should be able to respect the decision of the government and give all the support necessary to our police officers to carry out peaceful missions in their new mandate, which is under the UN in Haiti. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I want to support the decision by our police officers.
Honorable Junet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is one of the most dangerous missions that the government of the Republic of Kenya has ever sent outside this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, numbers don't lie. The statistics are very clear. In the last 9 months, 2,400 people were killed in Haiti by gangs. 900 women were raped. 900 people were maimed. The statistics are there in black and white, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a country that has killed, I don't know, 3 or 4 presidents of theirs. 4. And you're sending here people who normally carry, you know, these jembe rungus to just beat us as mere people in the street here, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you think it is a business of jembe rungus in town here, there? Madam Speaker, this is a serious matter, and I want to thank Honorable Oluoch for bringing it. Madam Speaker, this is a matter that requires deep thoughts, Madam Speaker. Look, as a neighbor, we are dealing with insurgents from Somalia on Al-Shabaab, and every day we are having casualties. The shores of Florida is just 2 hours from Haiti, Madam Speaker, by boat. 2 hours only by boat to Florida. Why are you not helping those people? Why do you want to send Kenyans there, Madam Speaker? This one, I strongly oppose, Madam Speaker, and this matter should be brought to Parliament first for debate and ratification before any police officer leaves this country.
Your time is up, Honorable Junet. I will indulge the Majority Leader, but Honorable members, also remember, member for Mathare has made a general statement. So there are other avenues of bringing this issue to the floor, but I'll give the Majority Leader, we close it at that and go to the questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me thank the member for Mathare, Honorable Anthony Oluoch, for that general statement. which I must commend him because it was done in a rather professional manner, not in a manner to disparage our officers, not in a manner that is unpatriotic, as the leader of minority and the minority whip have endeavored to show their unpatriotism in disparaging our officers, our sons and daughters in uniform. Honorable Speaker, we also can't use this floor to discuss a friendly nation like the United States of America, unless we have a substantive motion that has been brought, and I believe the statement by Honorable Anthony Oluoch had nothing to do with the state of the United States. Therefore, even to be imputing improper motive on the United States or indeed our officers who are being deployed in parts of the world, and we are part of the global world and the nations of this world, Honorable Speaker. And I've heard what the Honorable Junet is asking, that they share borders, of course, with other countries, just like the Kenyan state does not share a border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. And our officers are there, with the approval of this House. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if we are part of the community of nations, we must act as part of that community of nations. Today it is Haiti. Who knows? Tomorrow could be one of our neighbors. Could be us. If we allowed Honorable Junet and Honorable Pio Andai to continue with the reckless civil riots that we saw them engage in earlier this year. That is how countries degenerate to become what Haiti is today. And therefore, being part of the global community of nations, Honorable Speaker, we must be patriotic enough to support our men and women in uniform. And Honorable Speaker, that does not mean that if we are sending our sons and daughters to a faraway country, Honorable Speaker, to serve in the community of nations, the best we can do is to encourage them, not to instill and sell fear to them and their families. That is a height of unpatriotism. That is a height of
Honorable
being reckless as leaders.
Madam Speaker, is the Honorable Ichungwa in order to continually discuss our leaders, Azimio leaders, in bad light, while knowing that the Kenyan police are not trained in the military affairs and are going to die in Haiti? Is he?
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, please allow me to ignore the Honorable Jack Wamboka, the member for Bumula, because he may not understand some of these things and we understand him. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was saying the police are going to Haiti on a policing mission to restore law and order like they do every day. Honorable Speaker, they are not going into a nation where there is war. And there's a whole difference between restoring law and order. That is why we are not sending the Kenyan Defense Forces. We are sending the police to restore, to deal with gangs, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that particular, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from these unnecessary interjections by people who
Actually, Majority Leader, we had capped 2 minutes. Kindly wind up.
Let me finish. It's only that I'm being interrupted by this otherwise reckless shouting by the people on the front bench. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, let us be patriotic enough not to sell fear to our officers, to encourage our officers. Many young men and women in this country are waiting for police recruitment to
Majority
join
Leader,
those
do you
forces.
want to be informed by Honorable Junet?
I definitely would not desire to be informed on any subject.
You have 30
touching
seconds.
on security
Wind
by
up.
the Honorable Junet.
30
Not on
seconds.
security.
Majority Leader, 30 seconds.
I do
Wind up.
not wish to be informed. Honorable Speaker, I was saying let us allow our officers and as many young Kenyans wait on the waiting lines to join our forces, be it the police service, be it the military. As leaders, we must be in the forefront to show patriotism, to support them, encourage them, and ensure and pray for them as they go to serve the community of nations, Honorable Speaker. The same leaders who are disparaging our police officers here are the same leaders who are crying like small babies to have their security restored, including their top leadership. You should be ashamed of yourselves to be disparaging.
Order, members. Majority Leader, order, members. Order, members. We will not indulge more than that on this issue. The CS Health is in the House. We will go to the questions. We have already overshot the time that we would have had the CS start. So we will have the first questioner, Honorable Mishi Mboko. Ask your question. Honorable Member for Nyando, take your seat. Honorable Mishi, ask your question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise to ask question 009 of 2023. Could the Cabinet Secretary enumerate the data analysis in respect of cholera cases in areas where oral cholera vaccination exercise was conducted in February 2023? B, state the contribution of International Coordinating Group, ICG, in the cholera vaccination campaign, including the number of vaccine doses and the condition associated with this support in the country. 3, elaborate on the strategies that the Ministry in collaboration with county government have put in place to ensure effective distribution and administration of cholera vaccine in the most affected counties in the ongoing oral cholera vaccination drive. And the last one, state the number of personnel involved and resources allocated to the ongoing oral cholera vaccination drive. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Cabinet Secretary. Please note we have quite some number of questions, so keep your answers short and precise so that we can make progress. Please take the microphone.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to appear before this honorable House today to respond to the various questions that have been raised by honorable members. Indeed, it's my first time to appear before the full House to directly interact with the honorable members, as my previous engagements have been through the committees. I therefore submit as follows on the question that has been raised by the Honorable Mishi Mboko. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, as a country, we suffer from periodic cholera outbreaks every 5 to 7 years since the first cases was reported in 1971. The current cholera outbreak has been ongoing since October 2022, and to date, we have reported 12,000 cases and 197 deaths. Honorable members, to mitigate this, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with other sectors of government, including the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Interior and National Government Coordination, development partners, religious leaders, the media and the county governments, we developed 2022 to 2030 National Multi-Sectoral Cholera Elimination Plan, which my colleague at Ministry of Water and myself have endorsed, and it is due for launch this month. The plan aims to implement several promotive, preventive, and response interventions before and during outbreaks. The main interventions include engaging communities to use latrines, practice hand washing with soap and water, use treated or boiled water for drinking, and keep their environments clean. The government is also expanding safe water and sanitation infrastructure across the country. In addition to these traditional cholera prevention and control measures, the country conducted its first oral cholera vaccination campaign in February 2023 in the highest risk sub-counties in line with our multi-sectoral cholera elimination plan. The goal of the National Multi-Sectoral Plan targets to reduce local transmission of cholera cases to zero by 2030 and reduce cholera deaths to zero by 2030. We have just concluded the second phase of the campaigns, which was done in August 2023, this past weekend, in 8 sub-counties of Embakasi Central, Kamkunji, Nairobi, Kajiado East in Kajiado, Wajir North in Wajir, Suba South in Homa Bay, Moyale in Marsabit, Mandera East in Mandera. We also targeted institutions in Machakos and new arrival refugees in the refugee camps within Garissa. The August 2023 campaign targets to reach 1.7 million people. The February campaign involved 9 sub-counties in 4 counties, Embakasi East and Mathare in Nairobi, Wajir East and Wajir South in Wajir, Garissa Town, Dadaab, Fafi, Lajera, including the refugee camps, and Bura in Tana River County. We targeted to reach 2.2 million people, and we were able to vaccinate 99.2% of them. As a result of the campaign, we saw a drastic reduction in cholera cases in the affected counties and also nationally in a table that I have attached to my presentation. Speaker and honorable members, the contributions of International Coordinating Group, including vaccine doses and conditions. The International Coordinating Group is an international consortium that brings together 4 members agencies, that is the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, which has a strong country presence for community health promotion, local social resource mobilization, and provides support to states during disasters and epidemics. The second agency is Medicine Sans Frontiers, which is an independent field-based NGO that provides healthcare to vulnerable populations in emergency settings. The third agency is the United Nations Children Funds, UNICEF, which conducts wide-scale vaccine procurement and shipment and provides technical support on campaign planning, implementation in country, focusing